Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B-Live, the money man Scotty D, and your host, the head of creative Eddie Cool. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. We talking sports. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's time for your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. I always ask myself, why do you break it down like that? I need to emphasize the Sports Bros and podcast. Just to let you know what you're watching. Not nothing else. This ain't Nightcap, but we're entertaining. This ain't the Kelsey brothers, but we're still entertaining. That means we're entertaining too. Yeah, we'll as B Live ushered out a term called fanless. That's what we are. This is a podcast by the fan, for the fan. Talking sports just the way you like it. Just like I said in the intro. Oh, there it is, some incoherent rambling. With that being said, you know I can't do this by myself. Not only do I have one, but I have two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first from the Share Studios in Fayetteville, North Carolina. He is the almighty B Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? I'm going to start off this show by apologizing.
Already?
As we recorded last week, I'm apologizing because as we recorded last week, I was attending my father's funeral, and it was a beautiful time. It was a celebration with family and everything like that. A week later, I am taunting and picking on my brother, asking him who he was rooting for during Sunday night's game. I asked him if he was rooting for the Cowboys, which is his favorite team, or the 49ers, which is our dad's favorite team. And would that be too soon? Like it was just a week after we had my dad's funeral. Scott's already said that I'm already banished and I'm going straight to hell with gasoline draws on. That's my sense of humor. I don't even know, like it's a little bit darker than my dad's. I've been through some things. I need therapy. But that's how I just love sports. Because my brother, he's like, watch your mouth. Your mouth. And I was like, it's a good question. He said he was rooting for both, and that way he couldn't lose. That sounds like somebody I know on this show that roots for the Pirates and the Yankees, and so he can always lose. But go ahead and introduce the other guy. He's waiting. He's rolling his eyes already, and I absolutely love it. Glad to be here.
Coming in hot, habanero, Carolina Reaper, Ghost Pepper is the almighty B-Live. He is the other guy as he slowly drinks his water because he fitting to get ready to get it in. He is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, fan of the New York Yankees, Pittsburgh Pirates, the Pitt Panthers, and your Los Angeles Lakers. He is the one, the only, the money man, Scotty D.
I want to wake up in a city that doesn't sleep and find I'm king of the hill, top of
Oh,
the
and
heap.
two in the World Series
Hopefully,
right now.
no, it's 2-1. It's 2-1 now. It's 2-1. It's back. Yanks got game 3 in on Monday night. Got that win.
Oh my God, Nostradamus over here, over here.
Scott
Stradamus. Scott Stradamus. I like that. I like.
Boy,
that.
do I hope I'm right on that. Boy, do I hope. Boy, I hope I'm right.
I hope so too, because I can't go back and edit this one. Hey, once the bird is out the cage, it's gone.
It's been a rough couple of days as a sports fan. Other than, hey, guess who is 3-0 in the NBA? Bronny. Bronny has never lost an NBA game. The Bronny era has begun. Last year didn't start off so good for the Lakers. They got struggled all the gate. This year,
scored a point yet.
Bronny,
he's undefeated.
Woo! Bronny is bringing the good times back to LA. I love LA. We love it.
Do you understand that the internet didn't put a video, like they saw a video clip when LeBron James Sr. pass the ball to LeBron James Jr. or Bronny James.
Brawny, we call him, yeah.
And the caption was LeBron setting up the three-pointer for Bronny. I watched this video thinking that Bronny made the shot.
He missed that
It
one.
was a highlight of him missing. I was like, wow,
some they don't all go in. They don't all go in.
But that's the whole definition of a highlight. It's supposed to emphasize something good.
It was good.
Shot.
It helped lead to a win.
No,
They won. They won that game.
Oh, that boo you go. You saying that missed shot let? Oh boy. Hey, cool.
Eventually,
Nope.
they won. They won. Following that shot, they go on a win.
Put this, get us back on track.
Yeah, I got to get us back on track because if we stay off track, Bilal gonna go off. So therefore, that being said, I got to get us on track. We talking about the World Series. We talking about Week 8 in the NFL. We talking about a whole lot here on this episode of Sports Post Podcast. So you do not want to miss it. And with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into it. The top of the order. All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order. Well, as Scott Stradamus mentioned earlier in the podcast, the Yankees got one in, they won one in. But we don't know. We don't know until the very next day. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the World Series. The Yankees are heading back to New York down 2-0. I got some questions, fellas. Matter of fact, I got one question. Can they come back to win the series? And if so, what must they do? And let's not forget, Shohei Ohtani is injured. So we don't know the stats of that. Scotty D, it's your team. What say you?
Well, I'm going to go right now as it stands. It is 2-0 as we are recording. And I don't think that the Yankees are going to come back and win this. Much as I would love to see them, I think I picked them 6. As much as I would love to see them win the next couple games at home and give themselves a chance to get back to LA. They're not going to win because they're not hitting the ball and they're playing sloppy. And you only got to circle the man in the number 3 spot in the order, and that's Aaron Judge. That's the guy that the team is built around, and he's striking out 3 times a game. And between the Guardians series and the World Series, he had about a week to fix his swing or to work on some things, and he looks worse. So every time the man ahead of him gets on base, which is Juan Soto, who draws walks, gets hits, sometimes hits a home run, when he gets on ahead of Judge, he gets stranded. He doesn't score off of the bat of Judge because he's not even making contact most of the time. To me, Aaron Judge not only looks like he's pressing, but he looks like he really, really wants to hit the ball over the left field wall. At this point, what? Come on, man. Quit swinging at a ball that's not a fastball. You can sense it. I know you can't always tell where the pitch is going, but you know if it's not a fastball and it's starting at your knees, don't swing. It's not going to end up at your knees. It's going to end up in the outside part of the dirt down below your ankles, and you're swinging over top of all these balls, and you're. I'm talking to you, Aaron Judge. That's why I'm saying you're stepping down left field line and tipping your right shoulder up. You're uppercutting the ball. You're trying to hit it over the left field wall. Quit doing that. Quit doing that. Quit trying to hit the ball over the left field wall. Try to hit a single to center field. That might serve you well. Instead of trying to kill the ball, try to make contact. I mean, you're a monster. If you hit it hard, it's going to go out. You shouldn't have me telling you this. You've been in the league now since what, 2017? It's so frustrating to watch a guy who is so good just go up there and just flail away. And Giancarlo Stanton has had his issues with that in the past and seems to be laying off of those bad pitches. And that's why when he's making contact, it is going over the wall because he's hitting balls that are in the strike zone. It might be tough to come back all the way because the Dodgers are feeling invincible right now, especially the way that Game 1 went. And the Game 1 did not go the Yankees' way, but man, what an absolute classic that was with Freddie Freeman getting the walk-off grand slam to end the game. I mean, I got to tip my hat to Freddie Freeman on that one because Aaron Boone made a drastic mistake and brought in a guy who hadn't pitched in 37 days. When he served up a meatball, Freeman didn't miss it. He jumped on the first one. He wasn't in there to take a strike or look at a pitch. He said, if this sucker's coming down the middle, I'm knocking it out of here. And he did. So I just think right now the Dodgers just are better. At least they were through the first two games. I hope that my opinion changes, but the Dodgers don't seem to have any holes in the lineup. And the Yankee pitchers seemingly afraid to go after some of these guys because they're walking guys that are leading to, some of the run production. So if the Yankees are going to come back, it's going to have to be because Aaron Judge starts hitting the ball. And I'm not convinced he's going to do it. I mean, he spent the whole month of April flailing away. It took him 30 days to get that fixed. He doesn't have 30 days. He has this week, and that's it, B-Lef.
What can I say? All the things I could say. I'm gonna start off first by throwing a curveball with this. Scotty D, I've given you a lot of flack when it comes to your teams.
You don't say.
I've been a little bit of a hell raiser. As I think that's a good term. I want this series to go to 7. Like, I think there might be some magic in the Bronx, and it ends up being 2-2 going back to well, actually it would be because I believe it's 2-3-2, right?
It is.
To LA.
Yeah.
2-3-2. I think it'll go 7. I think the Yankees do. I'm not the Yankees, but the Dodgers do take one in the Bronx, but it's the parity. And I want to see it. I want to see it best of 7. It would hurt for a sweep with the two biggest teams in all of baseball. Like just market wise, just across the board, Major League Baseball needs this to be a 7-game series. Now, with that being said, Aaron Judge, 3 for 20 in the postseason so far, averaging 150 with 2 home runs and with 19 strikeouts. That actually doesn't figure out. I threw some numbers together. 19 strikeouts. Yeah, that's not good. And
No.
they depend on you. He's 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. That's not good. So those 2 home runs are either solos or somebody on first base. That's not good. You from the guy all rise. Well, case dismissed. We need your bat. The Yankees need your bat and immediately. Now, another point with that. So do I call him is it Freddie Gibson? I think Freddie Gibson. Because that grand slam, that pose, that run around the bases has only been done once ever in Major League history. And it was so beautiful. Even though it was a Dodgers uniform, it's Freddie Freeman. I will always have a little small place in my heart for Freddie Freeman because he was my dude in Atlanta for the longest. I don't blame him for going to the Dodgers. Double A, I need you to just open up the check just a little bit more, pay some of these players just a little bit more. The Atlanta market is not lacking at all, but we had a lot of injuries that just got a great baseball team. We just had a lot of injuries. With that being said, Scotty D, I'm still rooting. I can't say that the Dodgers, but I want to see a more competitive World Series. And I believe it will happen. I think the Yankees take Game 3 for sure. Some of that and for someone that's been in Yankee Stadium, it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. I think the home crowd will get behind them. There'll be a lot of noise tonight, and the Yankees will take Game 3.
Problem is that the Yankees used their 2 best pitchers and got no victories out of them. I mean, they wasted a really good outing in Game 1 by Garrett Cole, and they were sloppy in that game as well because Ohtani hit a double in the 7th inning that turned into a triple because of sloppy fielding. Soto throwing a one hopper into Gleyber Torres. He lets the ball pop up off his glove, can't find it in the air, and Ohtani just takes off and goes to third and scores at the tying run on a sacrifice fly. I mean, the Dodgers in game one were on the ropes. They weren't exactly hitting the cover off the ball. Garrett Cole had those guys guessing. And there you have it. And then in that tying ninth inning, again, Torres had a ball go under his glove. He dove over top of it. That should have been the second out of the inning. And you walk a guy. You walk the guy in the 8-hole that even brought Ohtani to the plate in that situation. So it's been the Yankees gave a combined effort to lose that first game. They have to tighten up. I mean, there's no room for that in the postseason. You don't have time to get back on track. It's because you lose two more, and that's it. The Dodgers have a parade. Yeah.
Yep. And speaking of the Dodgers, real quick, the injury update report: Shohei Ohtani suffers a partial dislocation of his left shoulder during the World Series game, but according to USA Today, expected to attempt swings off of a tee in the cage. The Dodgers have determined that he was good to go for game 3, so he'll be active for game 3.
Yeah, he's going to play. Will he be effective? The thing is, that team is so good, they only have to win twice without him.
Well,
I mean, or him at half speed. They got to win 2 games. They got to win. If they can win 2 out of 5, they're the champs. I mean, that's they put themselves in a really good position by holding serve at home. And again, and winning a game in which Garrett Cole was the starting pitcher. So there you go. I think it's a high uphill climb, not just because of the hole that they're in, but because of the team that the Dodgers are. They're just really good. And Walker Buehler, I think, is pitching game 3 tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And so that if you're watching this tomorrow and it's 3-0 Dodgers, that wouldn't surprise me either. So there you go.
Yeah.
Nope.
Reality.
Yep.
Hopes and dreams versus reality.
And all this, I blame all this on Dak, by the way.
He's a scapegoat for everything.
I blame this on Dak. Yeah.
Yep, man. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and hop into week 8. Good God, fellas. It's 8 weeks in the season. We've reached week 8. Like, Jesus Christ, I just finished video live stream for high school football last Friday. Now we're in week 8 of the NFL season. So with that being said, we got several games we'll look at. One of the marquee games that we never knew was going to be this big of a game, and it had a wild ending to it. Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. Number 1 versus number 2 for the first time on Sunday. So, fellas, this game was hyped up because there's 2 rookie quarterbacks. What are our takeaways from that game?
Where do I begin?
Begin at the end, probably.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
First of all, let's start off with the simple fact that Jaden Daniels looks way more polished than Caleb Williams. He threw for over 300 yards, while Caleb Williams only threw for 140. I mean, but the stat sheet doesn't show everything. For the most part, I mean, it was a close battle, especially to the very end. And I'm gonna say this. This pretty much, I think, solidifies 0.00. No time left. Play until the final whistle, 60 minutes. That's 1 point. Second point, I already predicted that Jaden Daniels would win Rookie of the Year. I think this will be just one of those marquee matchups, even though it was a miracle Hail Mary that won him the game. The fact that he got it down there. But let's really break this thing down. It wasn't about the quarterbacks. It really wasn't. It was just the last 2 plays of the game. Let's talk about it. What was Matt Eberflus thinking? What was the defensive coordinator thinking? What it just
in the last play of the game?
The last
second to last play is where he blew it.
Blew it.
Yeah.
You don't give up those yards. For the very reason you don't put them in a position to be able to throw all the way down the field to make it to the end zone. You gave up, what was it, 15 yards, 12, 13, 15 yards? But just like, nobody was there. I had all 8 players at the end zone like this dude can throw an 80-yard bomb. No, like, Jaden Daniels walked up there. He's like, there's nobody out there. I got my receivers right here. Let me go ahead and get this quick out, get him out of bounds so I can get closer so where I can launch this thing.
Mhm.
But there was the Chicago Bears had 10 players on defense and one absolute clown. They had 10 players and one absolute clown by the name of Tyreek Stevenson. He's apologized for his antics and his behavior, but you just don't do that. Like, and I'm gonna put something in there that not many of these sports media outlets are talking about when it comes to Tyreek Stevenson. He's taunting the fans, thinking that the game is already over when there's still two play. He was taunting them during the second to last play, and he was taunting them that last play. Turned his back on the actual game, and he's talking to fans, doing all these gestures, everything, doing all this, and I'm just like, and watching the replay, I think his cardinal sin wasn't even actually taunting the fans. I think he was the person that was supposed to be matched up with what was the guy that caught it game winning? No, what Noah
Noah
Brown?
Brown, yeah.
Noah Brown, yeah.
Noah Brown. I think he was actually supposed to be covering the backside of that, but his immaturity, he went after the ball and tipped it up, and nobody was covering him. So, and then you saw the Bears players look back. They're like, somebody was supposed to be back there.
Yep.
That is special teams prevent 101 when it comes to a Hail Mary. You match up on everybody, nobody gets behind you, and you basically put someone on every play because at the end of the day, regardless of how you put it, the offensive team can only have 5 people down there. Defense could have 11 if they wanted to, but normally it's 8 people. But you always match a person to a person, and especially you don't let anybody get behind you. He comes running in after taunting the fans and then tips the ball up, and there's nobody, and literally nobody is back there. And so I put the blame on Tyreek Stevenson
Done.
because
Done.
he's the one that looks like he's completely out of place. He because there was 4 other Bears players that could have went up and tipped that, and then somebody's supposed to be on Noah Brown sitting back, and
On
he was
that
like, "Oh,
backside, yeah, yeah.
yeah," and just a gift. What like he'd be on the bench if not cut immediately, like, and then he want to apologize. I don't want to hear your apologies because you don't. Oh,
I'm just glad that he owned up to it by, you know what, it's my saying, instead of running from it. I mean, from what I heard, understanding what I heard, he's a second year pro. That's first year rookie stuff. And I understand that you're excited that, hey, we're gonna come in here and walk away with a win, but wait till the game end, wait till the final whistle before you do all that. Hot dogging and jumping Jackson and digging in your butt and not paying attention. Just come on, bro. You gotta do better than that.
oh, yeah. And one other point, Matt Eberflus, shut up. Don't stop talking
Those
because
15 yards didn't matter.
right. Who says that? You always hear this catchphrase. You always hear this catchphrase when it comes to football. Every inch matters. It's game won by inches. And you're telling me 15 yards don't matter? And you say that after the fact? Like you had time to analyze that and be like, maybe I made a mistake. But you come into the press conference and be like, oh man, yeah, those 15 yards didn't matter. Yes, the hell they did.
Bruh.
Because those 15 yards are the difference between throwing a Hail Mary and throwing a bunch of lateral and hook and ladder craziness, and some miracle stuff. Dude, you got to have a better grip on the game. You're being paid millions of dollars. General manager entrusted you with the direction of his football team. Millions and billions of dollars are entrusted to the head coach, and you say 15 yards don't matter. Shut up. Don't just. I know you're obligated by contract to talk and have those post game press conferences, but yeah, that wasn't it. Woo.
Scotty D, you got any takeaways from the game?
Yeah, I felt like I was watching 2 rookie quarterbacks.
Mm.
It was
Hmm?
a tough game to watch. And Washington, I thought I felt like they were dominating time of possession. They were down in the red zone, but then they just kept kicking field goals. Here's the thing that bothered me about both of these teams. Jaden Daniels rushed the ball 8 times for 52 yards. Caleb Williams rushed 10 times for 41 yards. That's too many rushes for quarterbacks. That's not how you get a good offensive flow going. You should, you're not Lamar Jackson, and that formula has not always worked well for him either. I think these guys need to learn a little bit more. And like I said, they're rookies. Go through your progressions, and maybe sometimes you might have to throw the ball away rather than tuck it in and risk yourself. And then they're both going to get hurt at some point if they are running 8 to 10 times a game. And here's what I also feel, that between the two quarterbacks, Washington got the right one. I was not big on Caleb Williams coming out, and he did not change my mind watching this game. I thought that Jaden Daniels was clearly the better of the two quarterbacks. He looks a little bit more polished, and I know that they didn't score any touchdowns other than the Hail Mary at the very end of the game there. But Daniel still threw for 326 yards. He was 21 to 38. Not a terrible game. I just felt like they're still, you get all excited now when you get the shiny new toy. And I just felt like neither quarterback looked really very polished or very good in this game. But I do think Washington's team is starting to really come together. They really starting to look good. They got weapons. Robinson Jr. looks pretty good out of the backfield. Austin Eckler looks pretty good. McLaurin is a stud. They got to get him the ball more often, I think, because he went like 2 quarters or a quarter and a half between reception, something like that. He's really good, and you got to utilize a guy like that. But Washington trending the right way. I am not sold on Chicago. That's all I got to say about that game.
Yep, Washington's trending in the right direction. Something's happening over there with Dan Quinn and the crew. Chicago, Matt Eberflus, you should. I hope that was some heat of the moment kind of stuff. I'm hoping that it was, because bruh, if you stand on business, you ain't gonna last long in this league. All right, before we get up out of here and go to our final football segment called Bad Loss, Big Win. Real quick, fellas, what the hell? What do we think about Anthony Richardson saying that he was tired?
I think they should cut him. Even if he should never have said that. He should have lied and said, I had to tie my shoe or something.
Something.
Or had the bubble guts or something. I had to pass gas or do something.
But that.
Yeah, I had a cramp. Lie to me in that situation. Lie to me. Don't say I was too tired and it's third down. You imagine Phil Simms walking over to the sideline and telling Bill Parcells, I need a break on this third down play. Could you imagine that? Or Brady walking over to Belichick and be like, I'm going to take this play off. I'm a little exhausted. Get out of here with that. You can't do that.
Wait, be laugh real quick.
My biggest problem is he learned that from somewhere. Who taught him that? With high school? College?
I don't know, but you can't do that. It's third down. Suck it up. The next Flacco came in and handed the ball off. Surely you could have done that, because I think it was like 3rd and goal from the 26. They had lost yardage.
Yeah.
So they were not going to be throwing it into the end zone. They were just trying to play safe and then kick the field goal. He could have handed the ball off. I promise.
I tell you,
you're like 22 years old. How are you tired?
Tired, boy. You still got something right around your lips.
That's how you lose. That's how you lose the locker room. That's how you lose your old line backing you up. Like,
yeah.
Say you tired. You it's hot. He said he tired, boss.
Oh my goodness.
What?
I'm glad you brought that up, because when I saw that, I was like, you got to be kidding me, son. Come on, man.
I'll find another pepper point.
Yeah, and
I wasn't gonna let that slide there.
No, I couldn't let it slide either. And see, the thing about it is, he must have forgot it's a guy by the name of Joe Flacco that's behind him, who's a pretty serviceable backup quarterback. I'm just saying, you acting like you got Tim Sorgi back there, or Jim Sorgi.
He only played 4 games. What, 4 games last season?
4.
Before he got hurt?
4.
And now he come in tired?
4.
The word bust is starting to come to mind here.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
I know you wanted him to be the Carolina quarterback. You dodged.
I did not.
You did so. You said it on this podcast.
No, I did not. You keep saying
you said Will Levis.
I
I'm
said
glad we ain't got him either.
delivers.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a lot better than yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's not, but I'm glad it. We were just wrong.
Wrong,
All of
wrong,
them.
wrong.
Just it wrong. Just CJ Stroud. Just do your thing. Great
Yep.
day. In the meantime, in between time, check us out on another platform because we got sports here, sports there, and all that whatnot. But on Wednesday, we just break it down a little bit and we talk about mental health. And we ask everyone to let's check in with the Wellness Check Wednesdays podcast.
Feel free to join us. For more information, just check out our Wellness Check Wednesday page on Facebook. Click the link, and of course, let's check in.
Check in. See you on Wednesday.
Back at you right here on your favorite sports podcast, the Sports Bros Podcast. And before we hop to our favorite portion of the show, let's go ahead and close out NFL talk, shall we? All right. So, which team this weekend suffered a bad loss and who picked up a big win? We each picked two teams. I'm going to do a little something different. And with that being said, Scotty D, what say you? Bad loss, big win.
I'll say the bad loss was the Bengals because they really felt like they're starting to get on track. They were up early on the Eagles. They seemed to have things clicking, and then they let that one get away from them. And that was they dropped the 3-5 on that. That was on a day that the Browns did them a favor and beat the Ravens and brought them back. So that was the time the Bengals really needed to make up a little ground. Bad loss at home to me. I thought that was a terrible loss. Good win, man. I don't always get my predictions right, but I picked the Rams to beat the Vikings on Thursday night, and they sure did. And they got Puka Nacua back, which was a surprise. Cooper Kupp was practicing early last week, so we were pretty sure he was going to play. And all of a sudden, the Rams are a viable option to win the NFC West again. So they needed that win badly. And a lot of people had them penciling to lose to a Vikings team who on that Sunday morning was 5-0, now having dropped 2 in a row. But that was a really good win for the Rams to kind of start to gel and give them a little confidence going forward. Be live, who you got?
Well, I'm going to piggyback off of you just a little bit because with the Rams win, they're now only a game back, or actually a half game back on Seattle and the 49ers because Seattle lost, 49ers won. So, yeah, 4-4 is leading the division in the NFC West. So, just want to put that there. My bad loss, and it's bad,
Ooh, how bad is it?
is the New York Jets. They are now sitting at 2-6. And people don't realize that Aaron Rodgers is on the second year of his 2-year contract with the Jets. They make a move to get Devontae Adams and add him to the fold. So literally, the Jets have all these pieces. They're supposed to have this defense that's otherworldly. That all they needed was a viable quarterback, and they would be Super Bowl contenders. Now sitting at 2-6. Tied with the Patriots for the worst record.
And a head-to-head loss to them.
And the head-to-head loss to them. They're in last place.
Yeah.
In the NFC West. And, I mean, the AFC North, AFC East.
Yeah, East.
Yeah. If I just keep naming divisions, I might get them right. All right, the AFC East. And Buffalo keeps winning. Buffalo's 6-2.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, the Jets are 4.5, because I think the Jets have already lost to the Bills once, right? Have they not played yet?
I think
either way, they're not going to make it. What happens after this year?
Aaron Rodgers will be retired. He's got to retire.
Right? What reason would there be for him to come back? And then what's their backup plan? Have you heard of a backup plan from Aaron Rodgers? Not Aaron Rodgers, but the Jets organization.
Well, they're playing themselves into a top 5 pick.
Yeah,
so they're back to the drawing board with quarterback again. I would say.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And rookie quarterbacks sometimes just ain't all that it's cracked up to be. Especially, I don't know. being in the big city. A good win though, a good win because Sky D considered it a bad loss. I'm going with a good win. The Eagles over the Bengals. Eagles are now sitting at 5-2. Redskins are half a game ahead of them, but the Eagles seem to be finding their stride. I really found that stride in that game where they went for 4 tush pushes in a row from like the 2 yard. I was like, yeah, 1, 2, 3, tush push. I'm like, golly. But the Eagles will find their stride. Eagles could be potentially dangerous. I mean, I think all of us picked them to win the division. We definitely did expect the Commanders, but very much so. The way the Cowboys are going the other direction, Eagles, Commanders. That's who's going to win the NFC East. What say you, Eddie Cool?
Well, both of mine are gonna come from the same game, the Ravens and the Browns. Good win for the Browns, because Lord have mercy, Jesus. They came into this game at 1-6. And no Deshaun Watson, no problem because they scared of that five. They scared of that five. Jameis Winston with his quirky self, he came in and threw for over 300 yards and passed for 3 touchdowns. Wasn't a good look by Baltimore because they only ran Derrick Henry 11 times. He got 73 yards and a tud. Zay Flowers had decent numbers, seven for 115, and also Lamar Jackson. He didn't turn the ball over. He went threw for 289, 23 out of 38 passing and 2 touchdowns. But the big breakdown was the fourth quarter with with a handful of time left, where Jameis Winston was throwing for the wide receiver, and somehow, some way, Kyle Hamilton, he jumped the pass and he just couldn't hold on to the ball. And
Yeah.
I said, uh-oh, that's gonna come back to bite him in the booty later on, right? So later on happened in the form of Jameis Winston finding Cedric Tillman practically wide open for the game-winning touchdown.
That was a nice pass.
Yes, it
Real,
was.
real nice pass. I mean, like I said, the Browns did this because they this season has been full of ick, that Deshaun Watson ick. Somehow, some way, I don't know what they're gonna do to him during the offseason. Don't know, kind of don't care. You
They
kind of just
can't do anything.
can't do nothing. You're stuck.
They're handcuffed. They are handcuffed
Stuck.
to Deshaun Watson,
Yeah,
just like the Cowboys are handcuffed to Dak Prescott.
stuck. Yeah, and so and
They
that is and go ahead, be live.
Oh, I was just basically saying that yeah, that guaranteed money, that's a that's a salary cap hit. They
Yep,
got to pay him. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
yep. And so in that sense, man, I mean, Nick Chubb, he on 16 carries, 52 yards, a real classic AFC North game. So good win for the Browns. They needed bad win for the Ravens.
Yeah, I almost felt like that was coming when I saw Jameis Winston in the pregame.
Yeah,
Did you see his pregame interview where he was just preaching? Just like he was preaching
Oh
last.
yeah,
He was
yeah,
preaching. Have faith, have belief. I was like, man, I feel like these guys got a chance today.
yeah.
It was like it's in the cards for Jameis Winston standing up for Deshaun Watson last weekend in the Boo Birds, and then being named their starter this week, and then just he seems like he's bringing a lot of positive energy to the Browns. I mean that, and obviously he did because he came out and when it counted, he threw the big touchdown pass.
Yeah, man, Jameis Winston is something special. He said, "Yeah, we're gonna pay for this city, this organization, and the name on the helmet." Oh, we ain't got no
we ain't got no,
decal.
we ain't got no, we
Straight
got
face.
no.
Oh, we ain't got no decal. But either ways, we gonna have a good game. Ready, go.
You only get one shot. You only
Yeah,
get one. He
one
Yeah,
quoted,
shot.
yeah, he quoted Eminem.
I
Yeah.
was like, this dude is off the chain. I can't stand him because he's a Florida State dude.
Mm.
But man, I have to
He's
hats
starting to
off to
work your
him.
way into your heart a little bit with that. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I
just
never
like
was a fan either, but I kind of was pulling for him too this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm don't no doubt. So I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him too. Because
Can,
play your way into another contract. Hey,
can I say something that's bothering me? Can
Go
I
ahead.
say something that's bothering me?
What's on your
Okay,
mind?
oh,
okay.
here we go.
Yesterday, at 4 o'clock yesterday. I think that I texted you, Eddie. There was like 6 games going on, 5 of which were a 7 point or less point differential. And I think in 3 of those games, the team that was behind had the ball. So there was a lot of good finishes, a lot of comebacks. So yesterday, so Kyler Murray brought the Cardinals back to beat the Dolphins by a single point. Malik Willis brought Green Bay back. It wasn't Jordan Love. He was out injured. Malik Willis brought Green Bay back to beat Jacksonville. Jameis Winston brought a 1-win Browns team back to beat the Ravens. You know what all those 3 quarterbacks have in common?
They're backups.
None of them are making $60 million a year. I can tell you that much. When the Dallas Cowboys got the ball on Sunday night, down 6 points with 3 and some change, Dak Prescott threw 4 incomplete passes. Didn't even get a first down. 4 incomplete passes. And Jerry Jones paid for that. He's paying that guy.
I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna need it, Scotty D. I'm gonna piggyback off you real quick. I'm gonna go down this list. Eagles versus Bengals. That was the only one where a $50 million quarterback actually won, but another $50 million quarterback lost. Ravens versus Browns. Lamar Jackson, 50 plus million. Cardinals, Dolphins, Tua, 50 plus million. Jets, Patriots, Aaron Rodgers, 50 plus million. Packers, Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, 50 plus million. I'm saying, like, yo, wait a minute. Bills won, so Josh Allen, 50 plus million. Patrick Mahomes, I'm not even sure if he's making 50 plus million. He's close to somewhere around there, but man, yeah,
and Detroit is continuing to roll. They put half a honey on the board.
I tell you what,
they didn't score in the fourth quarter. That was 3 quarters. They scored 50.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, if San Francisco don't get healthy soon, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. The Detroit Lions are the favorites to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
For sure.
I'm sorry, and I didn't even see that. Arizona is 4-4 as well. So 3 teams are tied at 4-4 in the NFC West, and the Lions are 3-5. That is going to be something else to see. Who's 3? The Rams are 3-5.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Lions.
The other team, yeah.
He said Lions. He said the Lions.
I said the Lions.
Yeah.
I meant to say the Rams. The Rams are 3-5. The Lions are 6-2, 6-1,
6-1. Yeah.
But
the Rams are 3-4, and they're 3-1 at home.
3-4.
Yeah, so they're still in the mix. They're very much in the mix.
Yeah. Half a game out. There's a half a game between all 4 teams. All right.
And
can
I
get my piece in?
Huh? What?
It's a lot of college.
Yeah. Talk about the college thing, because Dak makes me sick.
All right. And without any further ado,
2 picks on Sunday, 2 more interceptions.
Groundskeepers, garbage men, daycare supervisors, and straight up hating ass people. This is the Be Live Top 5.
I'm going to make this very quickly because we have covered a lot of things in this episode, and we still got 2 more segments we ain't even talked about yet.
Ooh.
My top 5 is very simple. It stays about the same. Oregon still number 1, Penn State 2, Georgia 3. I moved Miami up from 5 to 4, put Texas down at 5. Texas, I'm going to say this. Maybe Vanderbilt maybe they're working on something. Who would have thought that Vanderbilt is a better team than the Gamecocks? All right, my bad. I said that. All right. I'm not going to focus that much on the top 5 because things did not change that much, but there's going to be a lot of college football to come up this coming week. I believe Oregon plays Penn State this coming week. I'm not sure. I should have had that up. I don't. But it is what it is, because I'm just going to jump into the Be Live not top 5. And when I talk about teams that are overrated, that shouldn't be where they're at, or they underperformed, et cetera, et cetera. Coming in at number 5 is Kansas State. Now, everybody always says that rivalry games, you never can tell. But Kansas is 1-6. Kansas State, you're ranked. You're in the top 20. You still have a chance of making the Big 12 championship and make it to the playoff. You can't barely beat a 1-6 Kansas team by 2 points and still consider yourself a contender. I know it's rivalry, but y'all gonna have to clean up some things with that. Coming in at number 4, LSU. Yeah, this ain't your year. I don't know what to tell you. This was the game. This was the game because you had a loss out of conference. They were like, okay, that's gonna be tough for you to make it to the playoff, but you're still rated in the top 10. This is the way to solidify, say, hey, you're a contender. Texas A&M, the battle of the undefeated teams in the SEC. Now, and when I mean in the conference, they're undefeated in the conference. This is your time to make a statement, and you did not show up. And God forbid how many turnovers LSU had in that game. It was very sloppy. And now with those losses and the way you lost, it's going to be hard pressed for y'all to make it to the postseason. Number 3. This hurts me to my heart. Hurts me to my heart to say this. Number 3, the United States Naval Academy.
Ooh.
Navy, you were ranked. You were undefeated. And then you just ran into a brick wall when it comes to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. This is a traditional rivalry, Navy versus Notre Dame. I had the luxury of going to Orlando, Florida for this game back in 2000. Beautiful. We
But does Navy
lost.
ever win?
Yeah,
No,
here's the thing. They
they
haven't.
don't. They
They
never
were
win.
undefeated. They were undefeated and they
But did
were
they ever beat
ranked.
Notre Dame?
Let's not do that. I know it's tough,
They're not supposed
but
to
it's
beat
been a
Notre Dame.
time.
They're not good
But
enough.
they were ranked,
They're
and
not
that's
beating
why
them.
now I have to put them
That
in
was a
the
that was
they're
a gift.
overrated.
That was a gift.
Oh, Army's still undefeated, man, and the whole world wanted to see Army versus Navy in undefeated battle. We know it's not really going to happen, but
No,
daggone it,
you got they
so
don't
that's
beat
why they're
Notre
on my
Dame.
list.
Your
That's
Navy,
why
you
they're
don't
on my
beat.
list. I know. Number 2, Missouri.
Played,
Most teams
played Alabama.
find them, but that's what I'm saying. Alabama struggled.
They're
They
good.
lost to
They're still good.
Vanderbilt.
They're still good though.
They struggled against the Game Chickens. They lost to Tennessee, but Missouri didn't even show up. They wouldn't have been on my list if they'd have scored 7, 14, 21 points. They scored a goose egg. Nothing. Nathaniel, nada. Missouri, you were ranked for the majority of the season. You ain't gonna be there no more. Missouri, out, overrated. My number 1, you weren't if you weren't paying attention, you would have missed this. A lot of people missed this, but Liberty is my number 1 most overrated team after week 9
The hell happened to them?
because Liberty went into this matchup. They were 5-0 going into this matchup, and they were going against the 0-6 Kennesaw State Owls.
Oh, Scotty D.
Undefeated versus winless.
Huh?
And Kennesaw State pulled off their very first FBS victory against the undefeated Liberty Flames.
Stone Cold, Stone Cold, Stone Cold.
Yeah, that's how you eclipse that. Because that was going to be a pepper point of mine. Sorry, that's not top 5 material right there. You're undefeated. This team hasn't won a game in FBS history.
Mm, 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 mm.
Liberty, don't do it no more. Don't do it no more. Scotty D, what say you?
Hold on, I gotta
Did you just, did you just walk off set?
I think he did. He might have taken an important phone
Oh hey,
call.
oh Lord.
But while Scotty D is away, I'll go ahead and say this. You know what, B Live, your top 5 is great. I have no issue with it on whatsoever. Um, this is that time of the season where we get to see the contenders versus the pretenders.
Okay.
We get to see that.
Uh,
So yeah, I'm looking at the Big Ten standards. It's like what 30 some teams in there, and then you got Indiana. Oh,
do not sleep on Indiana.
yeah,
Do
because
not sleep on them at all.
I just found out that
They
yeah, I just found out that James Madison's former head coach is now their head coach.
yeah,
I'm like, oh,
yep.
okay.
Hey, I don't know if you catch that on sound bite, but he said, "Hey, what's there to say? I win." I was like, "Ooh, ooh, you yeah."
I saw that. I
That's
like
all he
that.
said. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay,
Yep.
Yeah, I
okay,
win. I
you got
win.
it. I win."
I'm a winner.
Okay, so this coming week, my bad. It's not Oregon Penn State. It's Ohio State Penn State.
Mhm.
This coming weekend at noon.
That's the big Fox game at noon. I don't know if they've announced yet where college game day is going. Did they have they said yet?
I've
Haven't
not
heard anything
seen
yet.
that.
I would not be surprised if they are at SMU.
Southern Methodist University, they're doing pretty good as well too. So that right. Ooh,
Oh,
yep.
Battle of the Unbeatens.
Pitt is in
Pitt,
town with a
yes.
question mark at quarterback. Eli Holstein left the Syracuse game. What a domination by there's my number one team right now.
Of
Pitt's number one.
course.
They laid one on Syracuse, but we're not sure yet what the quarterback situation is going to be. He didn't play very well the other night anyway, but the defense was seemingly turning pick sixes in like a video game the other night. It
Oh, they
was
were. They were. I was at work.
something else.
I was at work. I said, "Damn, Scotty Dia, they beat the brakes off of Syracuse." Like, yeah, a
Yeah.
bunch of pick sixes.
What in the world? Pitt versus SMU is on the ACC network? Who failed?
Jesus Christ. See, they see people need they
That
need people need.
that's crazy. Louisville Clemson is on ESPN. I'm
Mm,
a Clemson fan. Switch
Well,
that.
that's
yeah,
good. That's good. That'll be a good one. They're just
yeah.
not. Pitt doesn't get much respect. You know that they left them out of the
They're,
March Madness last year. I'm not over that one yet. And
oh, here
they're
we
they're,
go.
they're undefeated. They moved up from 18 or from 19 to 18 this week. So
All right. And with that being said, looking at my watch because I've actually got to watch this time. Guess what time it
and
is?
I blame Dak for that.
Lord have
What
mercy.
what what ti- what
What
time is
time
it?
is it?
Trey Dizzle Jr. over here. I'm glad you asked. It's time once again for our favorite portion of the show, the choice of the voices. And with that being said, hey, old button, hit him. Loud ass names. Anyways, choice of the voice coming at you right here on the Sports Bros Podcast.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful
Ever
and
so lovely, Miss Button, for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the choice of the voices. Scotty D, what was on tap for this week?
Not the whole thing. He introduce himself. Wow.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
just the hell with Eddie Cool. He just hit a little good. But anyways, well, Scott, what the hell's on tap?
Well, we asked you to share with us some of your favorite World Series memories of the past. Exciting moments from the Fall Classic. What did the people say, Eddie Cool?
All right, let's go to the people, shall we? Tony Bogan, what's going on, man? What's going on? Tony Bogan doing some real good things. Stay tuned, all right, for good old TB. He said, going with the obvious one, 2016, Rajay Davis game tying two-run home run in the bottom of the eighth inning, and game seven in Cleveland off of Aroldis Chapman. One of the most electrifying moments in World Series history. Okay.
That was pretty crazy. And then they had the rain delay, and the Cubs
Oh,
came back and won. But
Cubs,
yeah,
like
that was pretty electric.
Cubs said, watch this here, all right? All right. Brad, he says Astros winning two World Series titles, and anytime the Yankees didn't win.
Oh,
Ouch.
man.
There's a couple themes when it comes to this choices of the voices, Scotty D. I think you set yourself up for this one.
Yeah, no one loving on the Yankees. So.
You know,
You
Yankee.
got 27. You got 27 of them. I mean, you got plenty of memories.
They got 95 of them. Who got the most championships? Them and the Montreal Canadiens, 197 championships apiece. Let somebody else win sometime.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Matty Ice Martin Tracy, he says, The face you get when Yankee fans won't shut up is a picture of Freddie Freeman going, ah. All right.
Yeah. Thanks, Matty
All
Ice.
right. And then he said, he's him. 2004, Boston Red Sox came down from 3-0 to New York, and that's when we clinched the World Series. All right. And Brian Livingston said, I'm just going to say, after
Nope.
watching
He
game
was
one,
talking to me. He was talking to me. Matty
okay.
Ice was talking to me. That's
Okay. And they said, and I hope Scott stayed awake to see it. All right. So shout out to Tony, Brad, and Matty Ice, Martin Chase for their participation in this week's Choices of the Voices. I'm going to go first. I remember in South Carolina, Buffalo Wild Wings, 2004, Boston Red Sox versus the New York Yankees. Of course, people, it's a tourist town, so you got people all over from Boston and New York, all in Horry County, South Carolina. And I think it was the ALCS or the AL Division Series.
That was the ALCS.
Okay, it was the ALCS, and I'm just over here like, this place is gonna go nuts if the Red Sox beat the Yankees. And they did, shaking that curse, and they went on to win the World Series. Just being in the atmosphere of that building and just seeing that fan base, that Red Sox fan base jump for joy. They had Big Poppy, they had Johnny Damon, they had Terry Francona, they had
uh-oh.
Manny, they had all them. So I got stuck, right?
I
Did I
was
get
looking at Sky D's face. That
oh, okay. I thought my face gets stuck. I mean, yeah, it's a memory, Scotty D. What you want me to do? With that being said, Scotty D, what's your memory?
I would say last night's game when Judge came up and broke out of that slump and hit that big home run, and the Yankees took Game 3 to make the series 2-1. So that was pretty exciting last night.
27 championships that he's coming up with a hypothetical.
Well, there was a really exciting one I remember, and this is the Yankees actually lost the 2001 World Series to the Diamondbacks, and that was a spectacular finish.
Ooh,
Louis Gonzalez hit the little flare off of Rivera, but that was also right after 9/11, so the whole World Series got pushed back a little bit, and the Yankees lost the first two games in Arizona, and we're coming back. And the night before, Derek Jeter had hit a home run in extra innings. It was after midnight to become Mr. November, the first ever World Series November home run. And the next night, I was at Bullies watching the game with a friend of mine, and in the ninth inning, Scott Brocious come up, and I gave my empty glass to the bartender and said, "Would you pour me a Scott Brocious celebratory home run beer, please?" And the next pitch, he knocked it out, and the Yankees went on to win that game. And we were all going nuts for the fact that I actually had just called that the way it happened. And Scott Brocious wasn't even really a big slugger, but when I said Scott Brocious celebratory home run beer, and then the bartender said, was that live? Like, did that really just happen?
Yep.
But I'm old enough to remember whenever the Mookie Wilson hit the ball between Bill Buckner's legs in the '86 World Series. I remember watching that one live, and I was pulling for the Mets, and I had resigned myself to the fact that they were getting ready to lose that game, and then a base hit from Kevin Mitchell, a base hit from Gary Carter, and then the whole thing built up, and Mookie hits the grounder, and yeah, Mets would end up winning the Game 7 of the World Series. So those were two that really stand out to me a good bit. B-Live, what Braves memories do you have?
You already know it. You already know it. 1995 and 2021. But simply put, I got to see the master class that Tom Glavine and Mark Wohlers pitched in 95, allowing one hit, no runs. It was a 1-0 victory in game 6. And just watching Tom Glavine just piece apart the Cleveland Indians at the time. Sorry, Hunter. I know that I'm not sorry. I loved it. The '90s, where the Braves only pulled out one, they won every single pennant. They won every single division. That the NL East the entire time. But it is what it is. We got one, and then we got another one in 2021. I got to enjoy that as an adult. It's a beautiful thing, and we'll be back there very soon. Yes, sir.
All right. With that being said, that about does it for this edition of the Choices of the Voices. Scotty D, what's on tap for next week?
Okay. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I've been sitting on this one pretty decent question for a couple weeks, but I'm gonna push it up one more week and ask you guys out there in podcast land, what is your favorite scary movie or scary movie series? This is Halloween weekend coming up. So we're going to switch off sports for this question and ask, what is your favorite scary movie or scary movie series? And that'll give us something to talk about next week.
Does scary looking people qualify? No, I'm joking. I'm playing.
So you tell me we gotta carry Halloween all the way to November 4th?
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Yes.
Jesus, man, I can't wait for November 1st, and now we gotta talk scary movies on November 4th. Way to
Hey,
freaking God bless
my
America.
birthday ain't too far from there. Just to let you know.
Actually, I think Eddie and I will probably be doing that podcast without you next week because you're going to be expelled for a week for not being nice and not being supportive of your friend.
I'm
Not
absolutely gonna be on the
expelled.
I'm gonna be on the podcast next week. I promise you
You're
that.
expelled for 1 week.
The day before,
An
everybody go out and
expulsion.
vote.
An expulsion.
Everybody go out and vote. I'm DJing at the polls November 5th. Go out and vote. I'll
Spinning
wait for
records
next
and
episode.
casting ballots with your boy DJ. Be live, be live.
Be out.
Next, be live. Grab that pepper grinder. Almost passed out. Good God, what the hell just happened? We'll be back.
Ow.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
Well, you heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get what I call the hell up out of here. But before we go, a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really. Here to engage, enlighten, educate, and entertain. The 4 E's in no particular order. Shout out to this nice little computer stand I got. That way I don't have to do all this and all kind of funny stuff like that. But with that being said, let me clear my throat and I'll go first. Scotty, do you love this one? It might be a repeat one, but I always love reading it. On this day in history, back in 1979, Billy Martin fired his Yankees manager for the second time. Good old,
Oh,
good old Billy Martin, man. Billy Martin
but
was a
not the
character.
last. Not the last time.
Not the last. Billy Martin was quite the character. Over to you, Scotty D.
I got to give a shout out to Jim Nance for a really good line he came up with during the Bears Potato Skins game on Sunday. In the second quarter, Zach Ertz had a touchdown in his hands that came loose as he was hitting the ground. And Tony Romo and Jim Nance were debating on whether it was a catch, not a catch. And they brought in Gene Steratore. And just as they were going to review the play, they went to a commercial break. So they came back and they decided that the pass was incomplete. It was coming loose as he hit the ground. And both Steratore and Romo said, yeah, I thought initially that should have been a catch, but I agree that was an incomplete. And Jim Nance then pounced on and said, it's good to hear Gene and Tony Romo agreeing on what is a catch and what isn't a catch when the ball hits the ground. So there you have it, folks. Dez caught the ball. Over to you, B Live.
Wow.
Oh, I caught where you were going with that. Oh,
Mm-mm-mm.
good one. All
Jug,
right.
jug, jug, jab,
One of the
jab,
best,
jab.
Jim Nance. One of the best.
Oh, my first pepper point. We are teetering into what is called college basketball preseason. We had a couple of exhibition games that just so happened to happen this past week and I reside in North Carolina, so this is a really big deal in this area. Duke faced Arizona State in the exhibition match and won by the term of 103-47.
God.
Where University of North Carolina the Tar Heels face Johnson C. Smith University and won an exhibition battle 127-63. Why? Why would you bring these teams in to embarrass them like this? Why? That's just wrong. Man, but hey, I'm pretty sure they got a little piece of a check or something like that. Eddie Cool, the ball.
I hear him now. We're gonna make.
Off-sided college scores, huh? That
Mm,
that's an interesting topic.
I can hear him now. We gonna give you
I
five
figured you
hundred.
appreciate that.
We gonna give you $500,000. Come take one on the chin, and this tough out of conference schedule make you ready for conference play. Yo, okay. All right. That being said, on this day in history, back in 1950, Detroit Lions Wally Triplett achieves a kickoff return yardage total of 294 yards against the LA Rams, the second highest in a single
Wow.
game in the NFL. Is there a video of that somewhere? I like to see all 294 yards.
Somebody's special teams coach got fired.
Quick.
Just saying.
294 yards, and it says nothing of a tut. Let me see. Did he score? Did he say it? Said nothing about him scoring, but he had
They
to get
have
close. He had to
they
get
have
close out of 294 times. I mean, out of 294 of those yards, you broke one for 80, 90, 50. Yeah, anyways, over to you, Scotty D. My math is horrible, but you get it.
I wish the Cowboys would fire their special teams coach. They had 4 penalties on kickoffs the other night. Illegal formation both ways. A forward lateral. Anyway, I can't. Kicker not kicking it into the zone. Anyway, here's one that just came across my desk. Speaking of those wretched Dallas Cowboys, I just came across this information a little bit ago. But Dallas defensive end Sam Williams has been suspended for 3 games without pay for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. But here's the thing. He got hurt before the season starts out for the year. And yet he's still suspended without pay from week 8, 9, 10, and 11. 3 weeks, 8, 9, and 10. He's eligible for reinstatement on November 11th. So on November 11th, he can be reinstated to injured reserve and get paid again, I suppose. But I don't know what he did, but he did something out there messing around. It's like getting fired on your day off on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Be Live, over to you.
And don't do whatever you did. Don't do it no more.
Yeah.
Gonna be on. How you gonna be on IR and then lose your paycheck?
Come on, bro. Suspended. Come on, man.
And you're gonna be on the damn the commissioner's exempt list. It's small steps. I'm just saying.
Trying
Be
to
careful.
tell you.
He's a knucklehead.
Oh, my second pepper point is somewhat of a somber one. Concussions are part of the game, and Tua Tagovailoa, I want you to hear this and hear this well. Your family cares about you. Hopefully you can stay healthy. But this one particular player did not make it out of college before he medically retired from football. To my man Grayson McCall, once a Coastal Carolina Chanticleer. Now he was the QB1 at NC State. He suffered a concussion last year that took him out of the took him out for the season, and he has had 2 concussions this year that have him now contemplating. Well, he's not contemplating. He is retiring from football altogether. So I wish him and his family the very best and all of his ventures and everything like that, because he was on the rise, and there was talks about him in the National Football League, but gotta take care of that old noggin up there. Best wishes to you, Grayson McCall. Eddie Cool, the ball.
And on this day in history, back in 2014, San Francisco Giants, they beat the Kansas City Royals 3-2 at Kauffman Field in Kansas City to win the Giants' 3rd title in 5 years. The MVP, North Carolina's own San Francisco starter, Mad Bum Madison Bumgarner. That big old boy could throw a damn baseball. God,
Yeah, he could.
he was something special. He was something special. It's crazy how like pitches fall off. You remember when Tim Lincecum was a big deal? Then
I do. He threw a couple no hitters.
Nope. And then it's crazy. Like, some pitchers may give for like 3 to 5 years and they drop off. All right, third and final pepper point. Over to you, Scotty D.
So in 2022, Dak Prescott threw a bunch of interceptions coming off of a 5-game. He missed 5 games due to injury, and he came back and threw a bunch of interceptions. And he said, "I'm going to do better. I promise. I'm not going to do that. Those bother me. I promise." Dak, you're a liar. You're a liar because you're not doing better. He threw 2 interceptions in the last 3 games in a row. Liar. He's got 8 and 7 games. That makes you a liar. Okay, be live. So
I
That's
just wanted to simmer just a little bit.
Yeah. Just let it marinate.
My
Liar.
my third and final pepper point. This is actually Sky D in your neck of the woods, and this is high school football, where this is the city league semifinals, where Pittsburgh's Westinghouse Academy, when they were playing in the quarterfinals, there was an altercation on the field, and a lot of the players left the sideline and went on the field to, rough and tussle, whatever. And subsequently, by league rules, they were all the players that left the sideline and were part of the altercation were suspended for the next game, which left Westinghouse Academy going into the City League semifinals with 11 active players.
Ugh.
To the tune of where they just preserve their players, because they all are pulling that Travis Hunter and playing offense and defense every single down almost. On defense, at times they play with only 10 players. Westinghouse Academy faced Perry Academy and beat them 68-0 with only 11 players.
Wow.
They were up by 60 points at halftime, and both teams agreed to play 6-minute quarters in the second half to get the game over with.
Wow.
Westinghouse beat Perry Academy 68-0 with only 11 players, sometimes only 10 players on defense. I have never heard of a more lopsided game ever in the history of football whatsoever. I think Georgia Tech beat somebody 229-0 back in the 1890s.
They beat Cambridge. No, I'm joking.
I think this is more lopsided than that, because there's no rest. That means those 11 players,
Just think about Anthony Richardson. He definitely would have a hard time with that
Jesus,
game.
His ass.
I'm too tired, coach. They have to play with 9. Wildcat. Have a good Wildcat. I can't take a snap.
Yeah, go to Wildcat.
We can only do 10 players on offense. We don't need a quarterback. Jesus, Lord Almighty. I gotta go, fellas. Yeah, that's it. All right.
And with that being said, it's been another action-packed and fun-filled episode of the Sports Bros podcast. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do nice for something. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it now more than ever. Be a blessing, not a burden. This is the Sports Bros podcast. Be live. Take us home. And Scotty D start singing.
Yes, sir. Time to go bowling. Time to bowl.
Oh yeah, while you at it, check out the Porch Perspectives podcast.
Look at that big meaty Arsenio finger on his
That's a whole lot of hoo. Check out the Porch Perspectives podcast, this podcast, Sports Bros podcast, the Connoisseurs of Pro Wrestling podcast, and of course the Wellness Check Wednesday podcast. Y'all take care. Bye. See you next week. Scotty D, say something funny.
How about the Yankees last night, huh?
You know what? If you're right, you'll be the smartest dude in the room. See you next week. Hey, it's Eddie Cool here from the Sports Bros podcast. Thank you for listening, and as always, continue to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Just click the link in the description box and keep up with the Sports Bros podcast. And once again, thanks for listening.